Yo, what's up? This is Punks for Progress. I'm Radd. I'm on my way to the Bern rally, and look right behind me, fuck 12. So this line starts at this corner on this side of the pavilion, goes all the way down to the harbor, curls around all the way back, and that's the entrance. Yeah. Someone just told me I'm not late. That makes no sense.
Online, People's Tribune.
Here, I'll take one of those. Check out Punks for Progress on YouTube and the social media. Thank you, thank you. Shameless plug there. Yeah, that's the entrance. Goes all the way around, like miles and miles. I've never seen this many people in my life, and I was in an Uber in Mexico City driving through the Mercado where the entire streets were packed and we had to go 1 mile an hour. Line's even longer than I thought. It goes all the way down, crosses the street, all the way back, and then towards the building again and back around. If y'all can see that. Yeah. So it's a few minutes before noon. The line's finally moving. But just to give you perspective, look how fucking long it is. And there's way more people that got here behind us. And I probably look like an idiot because none of these people probably want to do a street interview with Punks for Progress. Could be wrong, I don't know. Selling Girl Scout cookies at the Bern rally? Genius! Getting closer.
That place is already announced. Bernie's gonna announce in Milwaukee. Yang? That Corvo, right?
Well, they let me cut because I don't have any bags on me. Awesome. Well, what do they know? No, I'm joking. Finally made it in. Look at all these people. I'm way in the back. That's fucking everybody.
To see our patients suffer and even die because they cannot afford preventative care and because their care is denied by their insurance company. That is why, for decades, the nurses have been leading the grassroots movement to win healthcare as a human right and Medicare for all.
Yeah!
All along the way, Bernie Sanders.
Woo!
Kicking mothers and children out when they actually live in a vacant house. Bernie is fighting for housing for all, for economic justice, and a $15
That's not high enough in California anymore.
rebuilding the labor movement and restoring workers' right to organize unions.
Yeah!
Like our country's shocking infant and maternal mortality rate among our African American babies and mothers. We need to have that change. Nurses also back Bernie because, like us, he knows our planet is at a crossroads. The health and the survival of all living beings is at stake. Nurses witness the crisis as it impacts our patients and our communities. Here in Richmond, that includes trying to keep residents safe from the Chevron refinery with its toxic protection.
Woo!
We nurses share Bernie's comprehensive vision for a Green New Deal, and we know it can be a powerful champion and ally Bernie not only is aiming and tackling these issues head on, and he has outlined a comprehensive platform to win justice in all areas of life. And when Bernie is president,
When?
have a powerful ally in the White House. A healthier, more world is possible, but only if we build the people power to fight for this. Nurses know it's time to elect Bernie Sanders as the next president of the United States. Let's make it happen. Can we do this?
Yeah!
Happy Black Solidarity Week, Oakland, and Happy Black History Month, everybody.
Yeah!
This is an amazing crowd, and I don't know if you all have heard the story about this group of mothers in Oakland, but I'm going to tell you.
Monster housing! Woo!
Okay, so y'all, on November 18th in Oakland, California, a small group of unhoused mothers came together to reclaim a vacant house that was being held by a speculator named Wedgwood Inc.
The guy
That part, Wedgwood is notorious for coming into black and brown neighborhoods and flipping homes and then putting them out of reach for the same working class communities. Which are the
That's bullshit! Fuck them.
But this unlikely group of women who chose to stand up to the status quo, to stand up to big real estate, who chose to stand up to the big banks, said enough is enough.
Yeah!
So these moms, better known as moms for housing,
Yeah!
along with a dedicated, supportive network of organizers, community members, and people who just care about the housing crisis of Oakland, came together and in minutes, when they were told that the sheriffs were coming, over getting worse.
That's right.
And in Oakland, some of our legislators said that there's no end in sight. I disagree.
Yeah!
But right now, the current phenomenon that we do know about is that there is no city in the United States of America where a person that is working full-time or earns minimum wage can afford a 2-bedroom home. Nowhere. And single mothers with children are the largest demographic of people that are living on the streets of this country today. Shame. We have to do that. And in December of last year, the judge issued, after deliberating for several days, they issued it was wrong, but they did it because the law is not in favor of tenants. So they ruled against the mothers and issued an eviction.
Boo!
Yeah, we need more protections for the children. But they issued this eviction notice, and shortly thereafter, 4 days after, the Alameda County Sheriff's, have y'all seen that? Did you see how they did that?
They sent the fucking army.
They came with tanks. They came with AR-15 assault rifles. They came with drones. They came with helicopters. They came with all of this military force.
Boo!
To evict 3 mothers and their children.
3. The same fucking people that are putting kids in cages.
So in the pre-dawn hours, the sheriffs came like this was a terrorist attack to evict mothers and children. And it shows you the lengths that this country and our law enforcement will go to police black bodies.
The cops are the real terrorists!
Fuck 12! Fuck the police!
Y'all need to know that after this 2-month saga, this 2-month fight, people power prevailed.
Damn right! Fuck the police!
But you went from calling these mothers thugs to calling them heroes. And
Yeah!
they agreed to do the one demand that the moms had, which is to negotiate with the land trust to sell the home back to the community.
Yeah!
So if Wedgwood holds to their word, this house will be permanently affordable and community control for generations to come. So this movement that the mothers launched to say that housing is a human right is something that we need to be concretized into law, not just in the state of California.
Yeah! That's right! Woo!
Just a random question. Y'all know somebody who might support this idea?
Yeah! Bernie! 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 Bernie!
Senator Bern said.
That's right! Woo!
Is vowed to end homelessness in America.
Yeah!
Senator
Yeah! Yeah.
And get everybody that you know to the polls, because this is a special time in our existence right now. It is a and if we do not seize it, then shame on us. Shame on us. So before you leave today, I need you to pull out your cell phone and don't get 5 people that you already know from Bern, but get people that you don't know. Go and talk to them. Go and speak to them about the need and the necessity of the times that we're living in right now. We will not get another chance. We will not. So seize the time. Get people to go phone bank, come out with us some canvas, go and knock on some doors, and do whatever you can to take advantage of the period that we're living in.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to talk about, because we're winning.
Damn right!
So in the sage words
of
Terha'ak, I will have to say that when we stand together, we can stand the weather. And when we fight together, we can win whatever. Thank you.
Yeah! Bernie! 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 Bernie!
So the question remains, are you willing to fight for your community?
Yeah!
Are you willing to fight for California?
Yeah!
Are you willing to fight for someone you don't know?
Fuck yeah!
Are you prepared to work as hard as you possibly can for the next 15 days to make sure that we win California for Bernie Sanders?
Yeah!
Well, thanks to all of you and thousands like you around this state, we will win California, and we will build a just and loving movement inside the White House and for our nation and for the world.
Yeah!
Now, we are all in this movement together. Being here is a beautiful, not me, us moment. But this campaign is not about a moment, it is about a movement.
Yeah!
We are so fortunate to have with us today extraordinary elected officials who are in this movement with us.
They still got work to do, but yeah.
So as you see, but if you can't see behind me, there's so many people in here, but those that can see behind me, we have with us Oakland City Council member Nikki Fortunato Bass.
Yeah!
Oakland City Council member Shane Chow.
Yeah!
Berkeley Mayor Jesse Alegin.
Yeah!
Berkeley City Council member Cheryl Davila. Berkeley City Auditor Jenny Wong. not on the stage, but in the crowd with all of you is former Mayor of Richmond, McLaughlin.
Yeah!
On the Vallejo Board of Education, Rusko Kayanya. Our new district attorney of San Francisco, Jason Levine. That one deserved a little extra love. I get it. President of the San Francisco Board of Education, Mike Sanchez. Vice President of the San Francisco Board of Education, Gabriela Lopez. San Francisco Supervisor Hillary Roman. The Vice Mayor of Daly City, Justin Manalo. Foster City Council Member Sam Hindi. El Cerrito City Council Member Rochelle Martin Okimoto. Alameda City Council Member Malia Bella. And finally, Hayward City Council Member Aisha Wahab. Let's give it up to these amazing elected officials who are part of the Lafayette movement.
Apparently he's not getting too old for this shit!
Look here, Richmond, look here, Oakland, look here, San Francisco.
Yeah!
Look at
Get
you.
it! Woo!
Look at you. We're here because we're on the right side of history. We're here because we're going to build a movement that's going to translate this and redo the system, transform the system. We're here because of that. We're here know that there's one person, not just simply one person, but one person who's able to articulate our needs, who's able to articulate what we need, who's able to talk to us, to be with us, to work with us, to transform this country. We know that. We're here because of that. We're here because of that. Whether you're hospital workers, whether you're medical students, whether you're doctors, whether you're longshoremen, whatever work you do, you know that we need to do, we all know what we need to do. We all know what we have to fight for. And it's not me, it is us, and not me, this is us. This movement is about transforming this country. This movement is about love. This movement is about courage. This movement is about us, and that's where we are. And then work with us day in. Once he's here at this moment as a campaign, but once he gets in the White House, he's going to work with us to do the work.
Yeah!
Senator Bernie Sanders.
He's fucking here!
Let's go, Bernie!
Woo!
To all of you who are outside, to all of you who are inside, thank you so much for coming out today.
There's Jane of the Waking Universe next to him.
Before I go further, let me introduce to you the next First Lady of our country, Jane.
Of the Waking Universe! That's for the GDB fans. You know what I'm talking about.
Let me thank all of those who helped organize the event, those who have spoken, and I want to say a special word of thanks. I want to say he disappeared, but I want to say a special word of thanks to Danny Glover.
Yeah!
As all of you know, Danny is not just a great actor, Danny has been a social activist for his entire adult life. Danny,
That's right!
thank you all very much.
That's right!
Now, our campaign is about two fundamental issues. Number one, we are going to defeat Donald Trump. We are going to defeat Donald Trump because the American people do not want a president who is a pathological liar.
Why the curtain?
We are going to defeat Donald Trump because the American people know that he is running a corrupt administration, that he is undermining American democracy, that not only is he a liar, he is a fraud. Now, this is a candidate who told the American people that he believed in health care for all, and then tried to throw 32 million people off the health care they had.
Fuck Trump!
This is a president who said, I will not cut Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, and in his budget, he did exactly what he said he would not do.
Fuck Trump!
This is a president who said, my tax proposal is not going to benefit the wealthy, but 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%.
Fuck Trump!
Now, we are going to defeat Trump because our campaign is doing something that has never been done in modern American history. We are putting together the strongest grassroots movement.
Fuck Trump! Woo!
Multi-generational, multiracial. Trump is trying to divide our people up. We're bringing our people together.
Fuck Trump!
Black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, we stand together.
Yeah!
For an agenda and a government that represent all of us, not just the 1%.
Yeah!
The American people are sick and tired of massive levels of income and wealth inequality. They are tired of 3 people owning more wealth than the bottom half of America.
Eat the rats!
They are tired of tax breaks for billionaires when 500,000 Americans are sleeping out on the streets. They're tired of working 2 or 3 jobs, and 49% of all new income goes to the top 1%. So today we say to Wall Street and the insurance companies and the drug companies and the fossil fuel industry. Today we say to the military-industrial complex and their endless wars. Today we say to the prison industrial complex. Today we say to the entire 1% that we're going to create a government that represents working people, not just wealthy campaign contributors. It is not only a rigged economy, it is a corrupt political system. It is a system that allows billionaires like Trump to get massive amounts of campaign contributions from his billionaire friends. It is a system that allows a multi-billionaire like Bloomberg worth $60 billion.
Fuck Bloomberg and fuck Trump! Fuck mini Trump!
Mr. Bloomberg, like anybody else, has a right to run for president. He does not have a right to buy the presidency.
Goddamn right! Eat Bloomberg, because he's rich! Eat the rich!
Especially after being mayor of New York and having a racist stop and frisk policy. Especially after opposing, imagine a multi-billionaire opposing a raise in the minimum wage. Imagine a multi-billionaire asking for cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Fuck Bloomberg!
The American people are tired of billionaires buying elections. That's why we are going to overturn Citizens United.
Yeah! That's right!
And that is why we're going to move to public funding of elections. Mr. Bloomberg and others can go to billionaires for their fundraising, but I am proud, and everybody here should be enormously proud, that our campaign together has raised more campaign contributions from more Americans, averaging $18.50. More contributions than any candidate in the history of the United States of America at this point in an election. Somebody who grew up in a family that lived in a rent-controlled apartment, that lived paycheck to paycheck, I am proud that we are a campaign of the working class, by the working class, and for the working class.
Damn right!
Now the corporate elite, all you gotta do is turn on the TV, corporate elite, Wall Street and the drug companies getting very nervous. And they should get nervous Trump and the Republican Party are getting nervous, and they should get nervous, and the Democratic establishment is getting nervous. And I hear the establishment saying, oh, Bernie can win the election. Take a look at this crowd today and tell me you can. What this campaign is about, it's obviously about beating Donald Trump, but it is more than that, brothers and sisters. It is more than that. It is about transforming our government and our economy. It is about just ending the absurdity of millions of workers in this country earning starvation wages. We're going to raise that federal minimum wage to $15 an hour.
There it is!
We believe in equal pay for equal work.
Yeah!
And brothers and sisters, we're going to make it easier, not harder, for workers to join unions. And we're going to put millions of working people to work at good-paying jobs, building 10 million units of low-income and affordable housing. It is a moral obscenity that in our country tonight, 500,000 people will sleep out on the streets. Together, we end that obscenity. Our country believes in young people. We believe in education.
Education?
In the richest country in the history of the world, we must move to universal, high-quality, affordable childcare. In the richest country in the world, no, we're not going to invest in charter schools. We're going to invest in public education.
Fuck Mini Trump!
Tripling funding for low-income Title I schools. I want all kids in this country, regardless of their zip code, to get the quality education they need to succeed in life. And because we believe in education, we believe in educators, our teachers. And we are going to fight to make sure that every teacher in America earns at least $60,000 a year. We are going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. You know, 12 years ago, against my vote, the Congress voted to bail out the crooks on Wall Street. 2 years ago, Trump and his friends, against my vote, gave $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% and large corporations. Well, if Congress can bail out the crooks on Wall Street and give tax breaks to billionaires, we can cancel all student debt in this country. do something that is on the minds of people from Vermont and California. And that we are going to end the international disgrace of being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. I want to thank the National Nurses Union and all of the other unions out there who know that health care is a human right, not a privilege. We are going to take on the greed and corruption of the pharmaceutical industry. We are not going to pay 10 times more for the same exact prescription drugs as they do in Canada or in Europe. Under Medicare for all, people go to any doctor they want, they go to any hospital they want. We're going to expand Medicare to cover dental care, to cover eyeglasses, hearing aids, and home health care as well. No more premiums, no more deductibles, no more co-payments, no more out-of-pocket expenses. A recent study from Yale University just indicated that we save over $300 billion a year by moving to Medicare for all. We're going to end the absurdity of Americans paying twice as much as the people of any other country, while we have 87 million uninsured or underinsured, 30,000 dying, and 500,000 people going bankrupt because of medically related bills. So today we say to the drug companies and the insurance companies, the function of a rational healthcare system is quality care for all, not huge profits for the drug companies. Now, Donald Trump, he thinks that climate change is a hoax.
Fuck Trump!
Well, I think Donald Trump is a hoax.
Yeah! Bernie! 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 Bernie!
And under our administration, we're going to listen to scientists, not right-wing extremists. Introduced the most comprehensive and bold climate change proposal ever introduced by any federal candidate. Based on the principles of the Green New Deal. We are going to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. And when we do that, we're going to create up to 20 million good-paying union jobs. And not only are we going to transform our own energy system, but we understand that climate change is a global problem. It's not just an American issue. And my job as president will be to speak to the people in China, Russia, India, Pakistan, Brazil, countries all over the world, and make it clear that instead of spending $1.8 trillion every year on weapons of destruction designed to kill each other, maybe we should pool our resources, fight our common enemy, which is climate change. Bernie, 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 Bernie. guts to tackle difficult problems. Together, we're going to bring fundamental reform to a broken and racist criminal justice system. This is America. We must not continue having more people in jail than any other country on earth. Together, we are going to invest in our young people in jobs and education, not jails and incarceration. Today, 400,000 people right now are in jail not having been convicted of anything. They cannot afford bail. Together, we will end cash bail in America. Together, we will end private prisons and detention centers. Together, we will end the destructive war on drugs and legalize marijuana in every state in the country.
Burn one for Bernie!
And together, we will expunge the records of those arrested for the sale of marijuana.
Burn one for Bernie!
And when we talk about broken and racist systems, we are going to bring about comprehensive immigration reform in this country. No more demonization of the undocumented.
Damn right!
We, on day one, through executive order, will repeal all of Trump's racist immigration attacks. On day one, we will restore the legal status of 1.8 million young people and their parents eligible. On day one, we will begin the process of ending our current border policy. We, under our administration, will not have federal agents snatching babies from the arms of their mothers. We will not be throwing children into jails. We will not tolerate ICE raids, which are terrorizing communities all over America. Trump wants to divide us up. We're going to bring our people together, black and white and Latino. All of us are horrified by the level of gun violence we see in America. Now, I'm proud to have a D- voting record from the NRA. Looking forward to an F rating. Because under our administration, it will be the American people who determine gun policy, not the NRA. And that means universal background checks, ending the gun show loophole, ending the straw man provision, and ending the sale and distribution of assault weapons in this country. As a United States Senator, I hear a lot of speeches from my conservative Republican colleagues on the floor. And their mantra, as you know, their mantra is they believe in small government and getting the government off the backs of the American people. That's what they say. Well, I say to those hypocrites, if you believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people, understand that it is women who have a right to control their own bodies, not the bodies. Promise to you is that I will never nominate anyone to the Supreme Court or the federal bench who is not 100% pro Roe v. Wade. We will codify Roe v. Wade and put it into law. And we will substantially increase funding for Planned Parenthood. Women, not the government, should be controlling their own lives. Brothers and sisters, this is the most consequential election in the modern history of our country. And on Super Tuesday, California is voting. And I don't have to tell any of you, I think you all know, you are the largest state in this country. You have the most delegates to the Democratic National Convention. And the candidate who wins here in California stands a pretty good chance to win the nomination. So today I'm here to ask you to vote early, to bring your aunts and uncles and grandparents and friends and co-workers up. But let me say this, here in California, every state has its own theme with regard to elections. And here in California, we have a situation where no party preference voters, NPPs, now make up the second largest political affiliation in the state behind Democrats. And here is the point. There are almost 5.5 million NPPs in California. Please, if you are an NPP, a no party preferential, please make sure to check your voter registration today. And if it says you are an NPP, meaning your voter registration does not say Democrat, and you want to vote for us, please change your registration to Democrat. In other words, you may get a ballot and no presidential candidates' names will be on that ballot. Your vote will not count. So please do everything you can and get a Democratic ballot so that we can win here in California. Also, let me conclude by saying this. This is an unprecedented moment in American history. We, in our campaign, are not just taking on Trump and the Republicans, not just taking on the Democratic establishment, we're taking on Wall Street, we're taking on the drug companies, the insurance companies, all these guys. And the message of our campaign, we said it over and over again, is us, not me. And what that means, it means two fundamental things, pretty important things. Number one, it means that we understand that as human beings, we're in it together. Every family in America has its problems. Every family. And what us, not me, is about is that my family has got to care about your family has got to care about my family. We're in it together. And the second thing that it means is that if you study American history, you know that real fundamental change never takes place from the top on down, always the bottom on up. That is the history of the labor movement in America. That is the history of the civil rights movement in America. That is the history of the women's movement in America. That is the history of the gay rights movement in America. And that's the history of the environmental movement all over the country right now. All over the world right now. You've got groups like the Sunrise Movement. All over the world, young people are saying, we want a planet where our kids will grow up in a healthy and habitable environment. And what we understand is to take on the economic establishment, these enormously powerful people who have endless amounts of money, Wall Street, the drug companies, the insurance companies. We understand that no president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do it alone. We need a mass political movement. And what the establishment is trembling about right now, they're crying on television. What they are trembling and fearful of is that working people are standing up demanding decent wages. That all over this country, people are saying healthcare is a right, not a privilege. That young people want a higher education without going deeply into debt. That all over the world, people are demanding a planet that is healthy and habitable and taking on the fossil fuel industry. So we are in this together because at the end of the day, and I say this as a U.S. Senator who knows something about this, at the end of the day, the 1% is enormously powerful. They own the media.
Eat the rich!
Wall Street and all of these other entities, enormously powerful. They have endless amounts of money. But at the end of the day, the 1% is 1%.
Yeah!
And if we do not allow Trump and his friends to divide us up based on the color of our skin or where we were born or our sexual orientation or our religion, if we stand together for an agenda that works for all, there is nothing that will stop us, will defeat Trump, will transform this country. Thank you all very much.
So, just got out of the Bernie rally and I almost ran into a pole. It's gonna be a long fucking walk back to Bart. And check it out though, I got these really cool pins. Some guy with a big green mustache was selling them. And I have two more in here that I got. Where the fuck they go? I got a hole in my pocket, which sucks. And one more in here. There it is. Palestine. And yeah, so that was it. And hope you enjoyed Bernie's speech. And Richmond now has double-decker turnstiles to prevent people from hopping over. Can you believe this shit? Need a mass fare strike soon.
This was more people than I saw, like I said, on the streets around the Mercado in Mexico City. And I was in an Uber driving through the street at like 1 mile an hour because there was just no other way to go. That's all, you know. If you go to Mexico City, or really like any busy area of any major city in Mexico, that's how it is. Like when the streets are packed, people have to just drive really slow and hope that people move or whatever. And yeah, wall to wall inside this place that's like it holds more people than a stadium, I'm sure. So yeah, fuck you CNN, fuck you MSNBC. You're probably not going to show this shit, but guess what? Punks for Progress fucking did. We cover everything. Yeah, we're biased, we admit it, but something happens, we're going to be honest about it. We're not going to cover everything, but yeah, you know, there were this many people at the Bernie rally. We're going to fucking tell you there's this many fucking people at the fucking Bernie rally. And don't question our integrity, because we don't get monetized for our YouTube channel because we say shit and fuck. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to mention was, anybody spot some, well, for lack of better terminology, Marxist dog whistles in there? I'm sure that Fox News and those fucks, Breitbart, whatever, Daily, whatever the fuck, these Washington Times, all this shit, they're gonna be like, oh, look at these Marxist dog whistles thrown out there by Bernie Sanders. Yeah, guess what? You're not Marxist, so you won't be able to spot them all. I'm gonna help you out. I didn't catch the names of the speaker. The first speaker was a registered nurse representing the nurses union, and of course you talked about healthcare and Bernie's health plan. The second speaker, though, that woman speaking on behalf of Moms for Housing, yeah, he spotted a few in there. There was when she said, those moms put their bodies on the line to make housing justice real for all of us. So what are you gonna do? You know, you got to start fighting for your right to fair housing, and we can. I mean, there's been a lot of progress made. There needs to be more. I mean, if you just look at how many homeless people live in the Bay Area, and then you also think about how many housing units are empty like year-round or are strictly purchased for the purposes of Airbnb. Like, they're all over the city. I used to live across the street from one in San Francisco. You know, so it's we can't just vote our way into fair housing. There unfortunately has to be a very serious situation like that, and some people are going to have to take some risks. And obviously we see that it is the, you know, the most oppressed, most impoverished people in the United States. I mean, not only in the Bay Area, not only in Oakland, but in the United States. It's colonized people, usually mothers with their kids, and they fought for something. They ended up getting to, I think what happened is they bought the house back. Or they got it back at the original rate, I'm not sure. But they got to keep their house. They got to keep living there. I mean, it unfortunately took, you know, the fucking, like a militia of some sort to scare 3 black moms and their kids which is unfortunately nothing new in this fucking racist country. But it got done. It took some risks, but it got done. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do to fight for someone who we don't know, that does not have a place to live? And yeah, that's literally the direct action and mutual aid narrative. And the fact that, like, this wasn't done by voting. This was done by direct action, and that's what we need to keep doing. That's what many of us need to start doing. And then the other one was, it was more vague. This is a special time in our existence, and if we don't seize it, then shame on us. How do we seize the existence? Well, we have to seize the means of production or build our own. And unfortunately, housing is one of those things that's considered bourgeois production that they own and charge us for. And that needs to end. Because housing is a human right. Everyone should be able to get shelter of some kind. With amenities. Not just a roof to sleep under. People need running water and electricity. And sewage and garbage disposal and these essential things. And the other one that I definitely spotted, this was, she said, get 5 people you don't know, go and speak to them about the needs of the times we are living in right now. Needs of the times we are living in right now, material conditions. Speak to them about the needs, about the times. That's the mass line. I mean, of course, all the, all the Maoists and much more radical communists are going to be, oh, that's not it at all. I'll get to that. But that's, again, this is the part where I'm supposed to be helping out Fox News and Breitbart and shit find the Marxist dog whistles because they fucking won't. Anyway. But yeah, that's the mass line. I mean, I'm one of those few anarchists, well, anarcho-communists who, there are many things I deeply respect about Mao. He did a lot of horrible things. He's human just like everybody else. He was responsible for a lot of deaths. Of course, we know he didn't actually go up to the wall and shoot 70 million people one by one. That's fucking bullshit. But he was the leader of the revolution. Those people died under his watch. The captain goes down with the ship. And he knew that. He wrote an entire book about contradictions. Like, deep, wild, highly varying contradictions. But that was like the first part. It was from the masses to the masses. You go directly to the masses and find out what they want and need. You translate it into party propaganda, and you send it back to the masses. And so that's what that was about. And that's not a bad thing. That's not throwing people in gulags without determining whether or not they were really, quote-unquote, guilty. That's how you start any movement. You go to the biggest masses of people and find out what they need and then respond back to the masses. And this was not just something that Mao threw out, but that was one of the core strategies of the Black Panther Party. They went to the masses. They went to the oppressed, colonized proletariat in America in the 60s. And that's how they were able to organize those really important, seemingly small, but really not that small, and highly important things like free breakfast for kids. And then after her, it was Danny Glover, who is, I had a job where I served him a couple times at a hot dog cart in Marin County, where I assume he lives. And it was actually a pretty funny story, because you saw at the beginning of the video where I just yelled out, yeah, apparently he's not getting too old for this shit. I had a coworker at the hot dog cart who once served Danny Glover. He walked up to him and he was like, and then he said to Danny Glover, hey, how you doing? And then in his mind he's going, please say it back to me, please say it back to me. And then Danny goes, good, how are you? And then my coworker looks around a little bit to make sure there's nobody there, and then just looks right at Danny and goes, I'm getting too old for this shit. And Danny just fucking laughed. But yeah, he was a really cool guy. We would talk baseball sometimes. He's a huge Giants fan. Also, his wife's Brazilian. Both of them have been activists for a long fucking time. And it was Danny Glover who, I think it was either on Fox or RT or one of those sources, maybe Al Jazeera, where he actually said, this was like when Bolsonaro was first getting international recognition for how much of a piece of shit he was, that probably stole an election too. Danny Glover said, comparing Bolsonaro to Trump is almost unfair to Trump. Like, that's how bad he is. Anyway, back to the topic. So yeah, Danny Glover introduced Bernie Sanders. Keep in mind that I did not know Bernie was going to be there, because right before I told Bobby where I was going, and then Bobby responded with, oh, you're in Seattle right now? And I was like, no, I'm in Richmond, California. And then he sends me the flyer for the Seattle thing, so I assumed that that's just where Bernie was and he wasn't going to be here and this was just for supporters or whatever. But it turns out that Danny Glover was like, without further ado, your future president, Bernie Sanders. And yeah, that was me actually being surprised in the video where I was like, what? He's fucking here? And then more Marxist dog whistles. Not quite, obviously. But, he said stuff that resonates with some Marxists, and it kind of should. We're going to create a government that represents working people. That sounds vague to anybody who knows a damn thing, but to your typical right-winger that's looking for Marxist dog whistles, that's one they're going to spot and say, see, they want workers' rights. Yeah, we do. Also when he said, we're a campaign of the working class, by the working class, for the working class. That's going to have them shitting their pants. And he said brothers and sisters at least 5 times. Of course, knowing me, I thought of the MC5 and every song on Kick Out the Jams. But then anybody who, any of those like 100 million dead talking trope fucks is going to be like, brothers and sisters, see, that's the speech, that's how Stalin started his speech in 1941. Yeah, you mean the one that he delivered to the people before the Red Army defeated the Nazis? Anyway, yeah, that was just a side note. I mean, of course, Bernie Sanders has been saying brothers and sisters for a long time. And then what was the other one? Well, this wasn't like a dog whistle, but it was when he said, "I think Donald Trump is a hoax." He's still pretty funny. Or then like the other time where he said, like people were cheering and he was like, "Let me talk." Anyway, oh yeah, the other one was whenever he says 20 million union jobs. Yeah, the right-wing people would freak out. Ooh, communist. And then the other one that was actually like pretty reasonable was American people will determine gun policy, not the NRA. He didn't say anything about banning firearms. It's the people decide. I personally don't think that that any ban on firearm would work, and it would not be good, and it would strangle the working class. And we know why firearm laws are so strict in California. It was to attempt to disarm the Black Panthers. So yeah, obviously it's a pretty privileged thing to be able to say, well, I think we should be able to ban all guns, but it's like, well, how the fuck is the colonized working class going to be able to defend itself and guard its own communities, which needs to be done. We know that cops can't be trusted patrolling their communities, or at all, but especially patrolling communities of color. And yeah, anytime he says anything like us, anything are gonna be like, who's us? The Communist Party. And which was cool when he said in the video, he was like, he didn't say when you so that you can vote for me. It's so that you can vote for us. And then the one I spotted that was like for other Kropotkinite like myself. I made that term up. I know it's fucking stupid. When he said fundamental change is never from the top down, it's always from the bottom up. And he also said that that's the history of the labor movement in America, and then described all these other ones, essentially like every intersectional movement we've ever had between Mexico and Canada. And then, of course, the most obvious one in his speech was, at the end of the day, the 1% is enormously powerful, but the 1% is only 1%. That's it. There's 1% of it. And then the biggest one, that's like, I'm surprised I haven't seen this, like people being scared of it or whatever, but it's, the direct quote from Bernie Sanders where he says, "It's time the working class won the class war." That's not a dog whistle. That's Comrade Lenin screaming, "Face the fucking wall!" And yeah, and that was it. And so there were a lot of fucking people there. That was really cool. And it's a movement. It's the biggest movement. It's electoral politics, and I fully acknowledge that voting doesn't really work, but you also got to remember a few things. Like, if Bernie Sanders were to be elected president, he would have executive power. He could issue executive orders and invoke executive privilege. So not everything has to go through Congress. I mean, it can. I mean, a lot of the stuff is gonna pass. A lot of it's gonna have trouble passing through, like all those right-wing fucks. I get it. That's the biggest downfall of electoral politics, as we all know. But we have to just put all conditions, especially the material conditions, into perspective. And, you know, say what you will about, yeah, I get it. There's, you know, there's that idea of no one being left enough. And it's true, because we can't really vote our way all the way into this shit. But remember, the mass line. I'm already anticipating a lot of Maoists giving me shit for this because they think I'm watering down their message. But again, we have to think of everything. You want a mass line movement? You want to reach the masses? You want to figure out what the fuck they want? This is how you do it. Bernie Sanders is not a Maoist. Bernie Sanders is not a communist. Bernie Sanders is not an anarchist. Bernie Sanders is not a revolutionary. But because of him, we have millions of Americans seriously thinking about the left. That's your mass line. That's how you reach them. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of like really suffering people too, but you know, you have to reach the poorest and most oppressed masses as well. But you also got to reach the working class. And you got to do it in a way, and when you send the propaganda back to the masses, you got to do it in a way that's intersectional and obviously you want it to be relevant to the material conditions of now. But it's you have to talk to the people. You have to start also. It helps to start with the people who have the most class consciousness. Like, this is an attempt to build class consciousness. Maybe it's not deliberate, but nobody was thinking about the left before, you know, back when nobody knew who the fuck Bernie Sanders was. It's all it took was him running for president in 2016, and four years later, here we are. You know, we can't discredit or cancel any of those people who are leftists, but were liberals that voted Democrat before 2016. There's got to be some time when somebody reaches some, no matter how small, level of class consciousness. But, you know, those people we can't really cancel people. Unless they're the types that are, you know, doing shit like those far leftists, like, you know, throwing dead rats in front of DSA members' houses, or throwing eggs at DSA members, or, you know, because some of them were just liberals voting Democrat 4 years ago as well. But the left was never really a thing in the U.S. between 1945 and 2016. Other than like the very few labor reforms and other types of reforms put in place by American socialists. And even so, that was still a pretty long time ago. I mean, with the actual New Deal was kind of the end of socialism in the mainstream in the U.S. And people weren't thinking about it so much for a very long time. Until late stage capitalism hit, then people really started thinking about it. Anyway, that's what you got to start thinking about. You got to start, what is the mass line, and what does the mass line want? We have our answer, kind of. Again, this is through electoral politics, and you know, this is one of the kind of things that, like, even though it's something that's getting voted on, we have to take actions into our own hands to try and be able to get this stuff that we want. And Bernie has said that. He said that in the debate about what do we do about the insurance companies. Well, we stop buying from them and we say no. How that's going to look exactly, we don't know yet, but it could get dicey. And I heard someone else say this, but like Bernie Sanders, despite being what he is and running the platform that he runs, he is the most likely candidate we've ever had to actually be out there picketing with the people. Trying to get his own policies passed. Who knows? I mean, he's done it before. We don't know yet. We also have to, power corrupts, so we'll see. But anyway, the person doesn't matter. This is not, yeah, there's some people that are sort of, running behind the quote-unquote cult of personality, like lemmings behind this one guy or whatever. But no, it's not that's not most of the people. They want things like healthcare, and they want to be able to go out there and strike and protest and do these important things without running the risk of losing health insurance and losing the ability to pay back student loans if they get fired from their jobs. For the people who even do have student loans. But I mean, like, there are some people who otherwise are in the proletariat, and if they quit their jobs, they would lose their health insurance. And because there's still too many people who are uninsured or underinsured. So people can't really start thinking about activism or how they're going to be actual anarchists or communists while they are just mainstream run-of-the-mill people worried about what if I get fired and then I get sick. So that's one small thing. I mean, it's you hear a lot of leftists, communists, Maoists talking about something like protracted people's war. I mean, yeah, I get it. It works, and the U.S. government has acknowledged that it works. They were deathly terrified of the Shining Path in Peru because they almost won. Black Red Guard had a video about this exact thing. His words, or his words, not mine. The Shining Path almost won, and that's why the U.S. government was so scared of them. Like, scared shitless. And it took them 20 years of protracted people's war, 20 years of building their bases and reaching the masses before they were big and dangerous enough to initiate an armed struggle of some sort. 20 years. And that was Peru. It's considerably smaller than the United States. It would probably take considerably longer than 20 years to be able to wage protracted people's war in the United States through armed struggle. I'm just afraid we don't have that kind of time. And everything could be kind of fucked. So, one, it's worth a shot. Maybe it'll work. Maybe the environmental policies will be put in place and we'll at least really be able to stop making everything worse. Because we've already reached the terminal decline. We can stop making it worse, and we have to hurry up and stop making it worse. And so that's the biggest thing. It's the race against climate change. And so we have to reach the masses of people. This is a pretty big mass of fucking people. This was possibly 100,000 people in a suburb. It was like, it was in Richmond, California. Do you guys know what the population of Richmond, California is? It's like 98,000. There were more people in that pavilion than live in Richmond. If that's not the closest thing resembling the mass line in the United States, I don't know what is. You don't have to vote. You have the right to not vote as well. We don't have compulsory voting in this country. But it's through this movement that you're going to be able to reach people. And it's through this movement that we're going to be able to at least get the basics. Remember, protracted People's War in Peru took 20 years. And it would theoretically take longer for us to do that here, if that's where we would end up going. I don't know. Not there yet. But it starts with small, mainstream, common people movements like this. Because most Americans don't understand what stuff like protracted People's War and New Democracy and armed struggle surrounding the cities by whether it's the countryside or the impoverished suburbs and impoverished areas of cities. Most Americans don't understand that shit. They don't really know how it works because they haven't really read about socialist and communist theory. They haven't read about Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. They haven't read about the deep details, the ins and outs of every revolutionary movement in the world. They just know that they're either fucking homeless or they're buried in medical debt or, either way, they are not in a position where they can start going out there and taking direct action, or at least they don't feel like they are, and they need to be educated that they can. So, start thinking about it. It's, as Comrade Carrico said, you can be a revolutionary 365 days a year, and just take 10 minutes out of your day to cast a ballot and turn it in. It's not that much work. Remember, 20 years of protracted People's War. 20 years. 2040 is when we're supposed to stop burning all shit. Yeah, maybe I am sounding a little bit like an accelerationist right now, but I'm just putting shit into perspective. I'm just trying to be realistic. We don't have that much time. So we have to think of everything. Again, also, anything, like even any offshoot of Marxism itself, whatever you want to call it and however it's been applied, it's always going to look different every time because it's based on the material conditions of the place and time. So, maybe start thinking about it a little bit. Yeah, a lot more work needs to be done. Bernie Sanders does not represent 100% of my political views. But it's no one else who even gives a shit about any kind of politics, not just electoral politics, that are going to listen to you when you start talking about communism and the revolution. It needs to be put in terms that people can understand. And unfortunately, the only thing Americans understand about changing shit is through electoral politics. That sucks. Maybe they can have their minds changed on that. But that's what we got right now. Yeah, a funny story. I mentioned Comrade Carrico. He had some post saying, to all the Nazis who always dreamed of getting published in Germany, guess what? This anti-fascist from the United States, me, just did something you never will. Fuck you. Also, and then I responded with, wait a minute. You know, I played 2 shows in Germany in 2017. So, to all those Nazi musicians who always dreamed of playing concerts in Germany, I guess this anti-fascist from Latin America did something they will never do. So go fuck yourselves. And, yeah. Anyway, that's it. Think about it. There's a lot we got to think about. Not just one ideology. Look at all of them. Don't ever demonize one single person in politics. Don't ever amplify or deify someone, any kind of leader of any kind. Historical figure. You know, they're all humans and they're all loaded with contradictions like all people. And you have to just look. Just do the work. And yeah, it's not just reading, but reading is very important. Keep in mind that people like Mao and Ho Chi Minh used their writings and other writings of their respective communist parties oftentimes to teach illiterate people how to read. That's how a lot of people learned to read in China and Vietnam, was Mao's Little Red Book, and I forgot which one of Ho Chi Minh's writings that made the rounds in Vietnam. But yeah, that's what they did. Like, don't ever try to say literature is not important. It's not the most important thing, because like the whatever you read has to translate into action. But you got to do it. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. I really didn't want to make this too long, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you thought about what I said. And just remember one thing. You are living in a life that's got meaning. You can talk and talk, but do something. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this song that has been played before Bernie came out to speak at his rallies. Thought it was relevant. And here you go. See you next time, comrades. And so this one is a Nick Lowe original, and it was originally performed by Not Joe Scarborough. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. As I walk through this wicked world, searching for light in the darkness of insanity, I ask myself, does our hope lost? Is there only pain and hatred and misery? And each time I feel like this inside, there's one thing I wanna know. so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? I walk down through troubled times. My spirit gets so downhearted sometimes. So where I'm strong and who I'm trusted, and where is the harmony, sweet harmony? 'Cause each time I feel it slipping away, just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Strong and who I've trusted, and where is the harmony, sweet harmony? 'Cause each time I feel it slipping away, just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Each time I feel it slipping away, it makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and underestimating Bernie Sanders?